No.
No.
Now?
No, go now.
Okay. Hello, friends. Welcome to User Friendly. My name's Roberto Hoyos, and I am the owner of throwboy.com. I'm here with my friend.
Airphone Elijah, founder of Mike Tees, writer for Cultamac. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
User Friendly is a weekly podcast that talks about technology and geek culture and our favorite things on the internet. And today we have a very, very, very good shoe.
We have a good shoe. We have a great shoe planned for you today.
That's true. That's a Ed Sullivan thing.
Oh, really? Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Freudian
speaking
slip.
gaffe. Yeah, I was like, we have a great shoe planned for you. I have never heard that before.
Oh, he would say it. We have a really good shoe.
That's funny.
But I only know these references because I watch like cartoons and shit that like reference other old things that I don't understand. Like if you watch like the Looney Tunes, there's so much like 1940s references that no one gets, you know? So that's where
funny.
I get my comedy from. But anyway, how are you today, Airphone?
I'm good. I kind of have a little headache.
Yeah. You don't look so good.
No, I normally look fantastic.
You got a nice
so
haircut, though.
So that's anomaly. Yeah, I got some hairs cut. That was good because my fro was getting way too big.
How long has it ever gotten for you?
Probably when I was in middle school, I grew it out, and it was probably like this long. But the thing about my hair is like, it starts to curl, right? So it's hard to tell
It
when
starts to curl.
it starts to curl when it gets longer, especially. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly how long it is unless you take it and like pull it.
Yeah.
And the only way I can usually tell is just to pull it, and however long it goes down my face is how long I know it is. And usually I think like probably like right here.
When it's long and you wet it, does it ever look like Michael Jackson in the 80s?
On my good days, and I do shower with a sparkly glove on. It's like one of those like loofah gloves, the Michael Jackson edition.
Oh my god, we need to invent that. That's great. And then the picture is like somebody with wet. It'll be you with the wet hair and wet curl.
And
you're like,
the loofah, sparkly loofah glove. That'd be so cool.
Just on your crotch.
I mean, that wouldn't cover everything, but
Oh man, that's a new product.
the Michael Jackson loofah.
Yeah.
We're gonna contact his estate about that.
Nah, you just do an Indiegogo or Kickstarter. Just do it.
That's
That's the
true.
new way to do it. Speaking of that, that's our first story. So
Yeah.
let's get into our new to our stories and,
Oh, wait.
and topics. And
Before we talk about our stories, I
What's
wanted
up?
to bring this up. So, if you guys have been watching for a while, in episode 15,
yeah,
so 3 or 4 episodes ago, we talked about a documentary called These Amazing Shadows, which we both really loved. It's about the National Film Registry and the history of film in the United States and why it's so weaved into our culture. And the directors must have saw our podcast, so if you're watching, hey guys, and they left a comment on our YouTube page,
Yeah.
which was really cool.
that was super cool. They tweeted me first, and then I was like, wait, no way, is this the official Twitter for them?
Uh-huh.
And then I backtracked and looked through their tweets, and they had tweeted twice about us.
Wow.
And they were tweeting out the show. So props to you guys for tracking your whatever, your Google alerts or however.
Yeah, you
however
honestly
it's-
didn't do it because our show's popular.
However you did it. I know we both do that. You do that too, right? You look through like mentions and stuff
I
like that.
do, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, props to you guys, and I'm glad that you like the show. We love your movie, and I've been recommending it more since we talked about it. So
I have too. And the funny thing is, they said that before they made the movie, they had actually never heard of the National Film Registry either, which is a big part of the film. They go through and they tell you what it was established for and what it's good for and stuff. So
yeah,
that was really interesting.
yeah,
So-
that's cool. I love the idea that you're a filmmaker, but then you can get like into something and get inspired by it, like. Because there's a lot of topics out there that, I mean, sometimes just filmmakers don't have an idea yet of what they want to do, but they're actually very talented. And I've definitely have seen things like that, like cool documentary topics that I'm like, somebody needs to come along and make a movie about that, So,
Oh, interesting.
so props to you guys for doing a good job with that. So,
Let's jump into it.
let's jump into it. All right. So, the other day, I saw I think that people have been seeing this floating around the internet. There is this camera, and it's called Social Cam, Social Matic camera, and it is a camera that looks like the Instagram icon. It's a physical camera, and it's kind of been floating around Tumblr, because it's a very Tumblr like type thing that you would see on there with really high quality photos of this camera, and people are kind of going nuts about it, like, oh my god, is that real? Because so many people love Instagram, and I'll show you a picture of it here. So it looks like,
Yeah, I've seen this, and I didn't realize this was like actually a real thing. I thought this was just like,
looks like that. So it's like the real, looks like an Instagram
and it's like an actual physical thing. These whole thing.
physical thing.
I just thought it was like a mock-up, or maybe it is a mock-up.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna get to, is that basically it's been shown like this. So it's been shown kind of like in a setting, like it's a real thing, and it has this sort of a mystique about it because nobody really knew what the deal was for a long time, and not a long time. I'd say a couple weeks. It's been floating around the internet. Then just recently, it shows up on Indiegogo. And I sort of did a little bit of back research and found out that they weren't, the creator wasn't allowed to put it on Kickstarter. I don't know. Sometimes they reject certain things, But, so anyway, this is the Social Matic camera, is now on Indiegogo, and it's trying to raise $50,000 to create this into a real product. And I had a few things to say about this. The general consensus, as far as have seen, is that this is awesome. This is so cool, And I have a few things that I'm kind of worried about for this idea to be fleshed out into a real thing. But Indiegogo they sent it out in their mass email, so I got this email that was like, this thing is taking off, and we want to see it come about, because it's gotten some press. It says it's gotten press on the Huffington Post, Mashable, Business Insider.
I actually think that Cult of Mac wrote about this too.
Okay, so anyway, so this has come around, and when you watch the video, because everybody on Kickstarter or Indiegogo has to have a little video, and obviously like incentives and the goal and everything, and the video is completely CG. Because it's not a real thing yet. So you can see it looks just completely CG. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that is the backstory. Before I tell you what I think, what do you think?
Well, let me ask you some questions first. So, is this thing supposed to be a digital camera? Is it a Polaroid camera? What does it do?
So it's supposed to let you take digital photos and actually upload them via the device to Facebook, to Instagram, and things like that, and filterize it. To have like the filters in it, I guess.
Okay.
And that's what I understand. And then it's supposed to also be a printer to be able to print out physical photos using a cartridge that you put into the camera, and much like an old Polaroid camera, and the prints are adhesive back, so you can take off the backing and it sticks. And so yeah, that's the basic like features of this camera. And yeah, they're trying to raise $50,000. So here are the specs: 16 gigabytes of mass storage, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, a 4.3 touchscreen, 2 main lenses. First, main capture. Second, for 3D filters, webcam applications, and QR code capturing.
Oh, QR code captioning? Oh, good.
You sold me.
I'm sold.
Optical zoom, lens flash, internal printer to make your Instagram photos real. I don't know why I keep air quoting. I'm like Chris Farley. Paper cartridge with Instagram paper sheets, dedicated 4 color ink tanks, Insta OS 1.0, which put together Facebook and Instagram app feature, pairing with iPhone and Android app. And so that's a laundry list.
It's a whole lot of crap. I wonder how much this thing's gonna cost.
So it says, so they're trying to raise $50,000 for this thing. So
right.
Okay, what do you think about it?
I mean, it looks really cool. I think they're trying to do, my initial impression is they're trying to do too much with it.
Yeah.
I think it would be wise of them to just make this thing a Polaroid camera and then just have it do that and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you start talking about touch screens and all this other crap, I'm like, why do you need a touch screen on this device? Only because you want to put filters on things. And I guess it would show you the picture before you've actually printed it. But it just sounds so complicated. It's like, just make it a Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
And that way it'll be cheap enough for people to actually buy it. Because the way they have it sounding now, it's like, dude, if it has a touch screen and all this other stuff, is it going to be like $500-$600?
Yeah, it is.
Because that, who's going to buy a camera for $500 or $600 like that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your argument there.
Because their target audience seems like younger
Kids.
hipsters.
Yeah,
and it's like, what kid's going to spend $500-$600 on a camera?
Yeah. You're saying $500, right?
Yeah, even $300.
Yeah, because those ones that you buy at like Urban Outfitters that are the Fuji Instamatic ones,
They're like $80.
Those those are like $150 and
What? Don't they have models that are cheap though?
not cheap. No, like $150 is the standard price for one of those.
Okay, I feel like even that's kind of a lot.
But then again, I bought one on Amazon for like $80. So yeah, and okay. So I have a lot of problems with this thing. I think that the whole concept is cool, and I think your take about they should just make it an instant camera like a Polaroid is so much better the way to go. And you could actually it would have been better and a better idea to maybe partner with one of these people like Fuji that's already doing this film and everything. And just make it look like Instagram, and people out and about that see it at, sold at Urban Outfitters and it looks like Instagram, you would sell so many,
Maybe like it prints out photos that look like they're on Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe like that's what it does.
Yeah, and it doesn't have exactly. That's its hook, right? But they're trying to make it almost into like it's like a phone. Like it's supposed to do all this stuff and it has to have Wi-Fi and all this stuff. And so there's some big flaws with this. One, we've never seen a physical prototype. That's a huge flaw. Somebody can make a great looking picture, but it doesn't mean that they're going to deliver. How this looks like the tooling on this looks as good as the iPhone 4.
Yeah, it really does.
Like it could very well just be a piece of plastic with a decal over it when we actually get it from doing our contribution, Like
right.
It doesn't say it has to be made with a metal ring around it and everything, like so expensive looking, right? The other big flaw, the huge flaw in my opinion, is that it has these dedicated pieces of film. These like, what are they called? This cartridge of film that you're supposed to buy and it's supposed to come with it. They're not even a startup. They're one dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
How is that going to sustain? Like after people run out, like how much are those going to be? Who's going to be making those on a normal basis? Like that's a huge flaw. Like
right.
Like that's gonna dry up. They're probably gonna make a few of them. It's gonna be a very expensive novelty camera at the very least if it gets funded, because 39 days left. And it hasn't raised $5,000 yet.
Well, let me just interject. One of the things that I found out recently about Indiegogo, which is different than Kickstarter, is
you still get the money.
They still get the money.
Oh.
And as far as I understand, they're still required to deliver as many units as they have sold.
Wow.
Which with Kickstarter, if you don't make your goal, you don't get the money,
yeah.
and you don't have to sell the product, which is a good thing, right? Because
yeah.
you don't want to have to create 5 cameras
yeah.
if only 5 sell.
And you probably can't.
You probably wouldn't have enough money to do it.
No, because a lot of these manufacturers, I mean, I've dealt with manufacturing plants overseas and stuff. And you have to make a minimum, you know what I mean? You have to make a minimum of a certain amount, especially something like this that requires like prototyping, and that's.
Dude, I'm thinking they're gonna spend their $50,000 just creating a prototype.
Yeah,
maybe more.
Dude, I totally agree with you. The biggest flaw is that you're trying to create everything from scratch. You're trying to create everything from scratch. There's a lot of this stuff. You shouldn't try to reinvent the wheel with like, we have to have our own specific lens for this thing. We have to have our own specific touchscreen for this thing.
Yeah.
We have to have our own brand of film for this thing. Like, is Instagram even in on this? Because they're using the name Instagram a lot in this. They're like, oh, it uses Instagram film. It's like, that's not a thing, Like,
right.
And Facebook owns Instagram. So, like, And then, okay, let's say this thing does work, right? This was another argument I have. People are expecting this to work, let's say, like almost like your iPhone. You take a photo, you filterize it, you hit print. Oh, yeah, I have a print, right? It's not going to work the same way, the same quick and fun experience that you get out of using a Polaroid camera. Because the Polaroid camera, what it does is you take a picture on it, it captures it, and that goes to the actual, what?
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, as you were saying that,
Yeah.
I was like, you were talking about putting filters and everything on it. And the first thing that popped into my mind is they're going to have to program software for this thing.
Yes.
That's going to cost more than $50,000.
And
like,
supposedly it says that it's running Insta OS.
it's really, this is
just like
This
fabrication.
guy has just created a pipe dream.
Yes, exactly.
And he's just like, we're going to build this product. It's like, dude, this is... The reason he's able to include all these features is because he's daydreaming.
He's just
Like,
making them up.
Yeah. He has absolutely no like basis in reality on how
No.
he's going to create this
And
thing.
that's the thing is like
And he only wants $50K.
yes. And yes, exactly. So like I'm thinking, okay, like this is I remember being in a technical writing class in junior high and we had to make up our dream what do you call it, motorcycle helmet. And I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna have like a radio built in, it's gonna have like Bluetooth and all this shit that I was just making up out of my ass. And I'm like, yeah, that's what this feels like.
Yeah.
Like any like smart, like somebody that's dealt with having to make something from a dream to a physical product, there's a lot of steps between that, and there's a lot of editing between that.
Right.
And you shouldn't really be allowed to just throw this up there like this and just be like, well, see, that's the big problem with this Kickstarters and Indiegogo.
Well, this is maybe why Kickstarter declined them.
probably, yeah.
Because they're like, this isn't feasible.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to do this.
I'm sure that they've seen lots and lots of physical products, and by this point they kind of have an idea of what things cost,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're right. So it is totally like a pipe dream. But what I was gonna say is like old-fashioned Polaroid, or even like these new ones that are really cool. Actually, these little Fuji ones, they have a very instant gratification because you take a photo and it automatically flashes the light or whatever on the piece of film strip. And then it prints it, so it's like ching, zzz,
Right.
it comes out of the bottom, however on a Polaroid does. This is a printer. This is a mobile printer. And one of those big things about the mobile printers is their battery life isn't very good. I've tried to use many of them. I bought one, actually, not too long ago to try to see how I could do out in the field when I go do throwboy events, if I wanted to take somebody's photo with a pillow and then print it and give it to them, right, as a souvenir. And so this is a slow experience. Here, I brought my little Polaroid printer. I can't bring it in frame, but
Is it charging?
it's charging. But anyway, it's this little Polaroid printer, and I was gonna print out a thing right now to show you the speed of this. Maybe I'll plug it in over there. Can I unplug something?
Yeah.
Can I unplug that black one at the bottom?
That's our camera.
Okay.
Let me see the plug. I might be able to work it in here.
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't.
It's too long.
Okay.
Never mind. But anyway, what else do you think about this, Ervan?
Well, now I just think it's hilarious. There's not a chance this guy's gonna build this thing.
Yeah.
There's just not a chance, and I don't mean to be a pessimist, but $50,000 to build a custom machine camera
Yes.
with a lens
Yes.
that has a printer in it.
A touch screen.
You need to has a touch screen screen on the back. It needs software developed for it. It needs to be tested.
Yeah.
It needs to have the film developed. It needs to have the packaging developed.
Yeah.
And this guy only wants $50,000. Like, this seems like something that Fuji would do. They would partner with Facebook
Yeah.
and say, hey, we have all this technology. Let's figure out how we can use our existing technology
Yeah.
to create the Instagram camera. We already have the film because we're using it in our other cameras. Like, we could put something together. Not, hey, let's custom develop this camera and get it manufactured somewhere. It's like this guy just put a pipe dream on this website.
He should have done just that. He should have made a prototype, a physical prototype. Stop fucking around and just making a stupid Photoshop. Make a real prototype, and actually go directly to a place that manufactures this kind of film. That's the
Right.
that's the biggest flaw in my opinion is that you're going to make something that requires this constant thing that requires film. You know, it's like making a new camera that instead of partnering or instead of doing a SD cards, you're doing like some made up card that you made up. You know, it's like, so now you're gonna get into the card making business. Is this guy gonna get into the film making business? Because that's what Kodak was in when they would make stuff. They were in the film making business. So anyway, let me show you how fast this thing prints. Hopefully it won't die when I'm trying to send it to it. But so this is a normal print out for a portable Polaroid printer.
Let me just move the camera here.
Okay. So it's printing right now. It's sending here. Look, it's sending over Bluetooth over Bluetooth. So can you see that? Can you see both?
Let me see if I can get both at the same time. Yep.
Okay. Still going. Still sending the data. Might have to not. Maybe you're not waiting on this side, but you are waiting for the printer part. Okay, now it's printing.
So now it's going.
And if it's using the same kind of zinc, this is a zero ink technology that Polaroid is using nowadays, which they actually do have a camera that has, it's basically this with a built-in camera to print out prints selectively. This is how slow it is. So it's not the same experience you might be expecting from an old-fashioned Polaroid camera, because it's sitting there printing it on the fly at the very bottom, right? It's sitting there printing it out. So, and this also has an adhesive back. There you go. So that's the experience that maybe if this ever comes to fruition that this will actually have. And so we can put this. I'll stick this on my laptop today.
Oh, that has a sticker in it too?
Yeah, just for the show. I'm not that big into the show.
Yeah, because printers, I mean, all the printers I've ever used, they take a ton of electricity.
Yes.
You know, it's like you have to, like, most of them, if you read like their instruction books, they're like you have to plug it into the outlet itself. You're not supposed to plug them into a power strip. Hey, nice picture. That's peeling off.
No. I want to get it off later.
You don't want it on there permanently? A picture of us?
So anyway, I think we ranted, but I was so adamant about it because I was like, people aren't seeing the real picture here. They're just seeing the dream. They're just seeing this like cool, Photoshop thing, and they're like, that is so cool. I want that. But they don't see like the connecting dots that I don't think that can happen.
Another thing I don't like just about Indiegogo is the fact that so you have this goal, right? And they're like, I want to raise $50,000, and Indiegogo gives them the money whether they raise their goal or not. That seems like a huge problem because, like, if you're saying I need $50,000 to develop something and you don't get it, does that mean you're just being paid for nothing?
Exactly. Yeah,
because you're not getting what you need. So.
Yeah, then you have to go back to the drawing board and find out how to make the rest of the
Or you just
money.
quit. You're
Or
like,
you
well,
quit.
I didn't make as much money as I needed to do this, so I can't do it. But I guess I'll just take the $5,000 I
would
made.
be pissed, dude. What if you donated the minimum amount, which is $100, and your credit card got charged, and it's over?
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, oh, I guess there's nothing there.
But Indiegogo gets their cut. This
Yeah.
guy gets the rest of the money. I think the Kickstarter model is much more, honest. It's like if they make the goal, everyone gets paid and you get your product.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, then it's like you don't get the money. You don't get charged.
Yeah, this is really weird. Especially since if you read the comments, people are like stoked on it, and it's just like there's so many bad flaws in this thing. Well, actually, there's a big list of flaws, I think, here. So maybe some people are actually thinking about it in a dreamy way, but
So good, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. Okay, let's move on because I could keep. The more I think about it, the more pissed I get.
So, alrighty. So I have another thing.
Yeah.
This is a really cool one. So, being that we've both dabbled in our fair share of manufacturing,
Right.
and we're into YouTube. YouTube has just announced that they're going to launch a new YouTube merch store. So they're going to basically allow partners to create their own merch stores, to create stores with their own custom T-shirts, their own wristbands, their own buttons, whatnot.
Oh, it just clicked how they're gonna do this to me. Okay, yeah.
And apparently they were doing it a little bit for bands, but now they're opening it up to everybody. So what happens right now for a lot of these big YouTubers is they get a lot of extra revenue besides their ad revenue from merch. Kids want T-shirts of iJustine. Kids want T-shirts of Phil DeFranco and all this stuff, and they all it's sort of fragmented. Some of them will partner with places like District Lines. That's a really, really big one. Some places will do Spreadshirt. Some places will do, whoever, Cafe Press or whatever, right? So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be built into the actual YouTube partners page, and you can just click, one of the other tabs will be merch, right? So this is pretty big. This is a pretty big deal. What do you think about it?
Well, when I said it just clicked earlier, so they're partnering with Cafe Press, right? So Cafe Press, makers of the crappiest T-shirts on the internet, will now be doing fulfillment for all these YouTube celebrities. And Cafe Press, I mean, they have a relevant business model. They use basically inkjet printers to print things onto T-shirts and sell them. I don't know how they make their other merch. I assume it's similar processes. So basically, what they're doing is they're funneling these people to Cafe Press. And Cafe Press probably has an exclusivity agreement with YouTube, so there's no competition. And they are going to integrate with YouTube, give these people their own stores, and then when you place an order for your favorite YouTube celebrity's goods, you're basically buying it from Cafe Press, who shows you all these digital mock-ups of what it probably will look like, and then they print it on a crappy inkjet printer and they mail it to you. So it makes a lot of sense for YouTube to do this. I mean, they're going to be taking a cut of it, no doubt. So it's extra revenue for them without really having to do anything, and it gives their YouTube celebrities and people who don't have any videos being watched a way to monetize their brand. So I think it's a good idea. Is Cafe Press the best way to, is the best way to sell merch? I don't think so, but I don't know if District Lines would be either. I don't really know very much about District Lines and how they print stuff.
Right.
But they need someone who is rock solid, reliable, right? YouTube's not going to go with a small company because they need to make sure these orders are going to be fulfilled and people aren't going to just get their money stolen.
Yeah.
So
and
it makes sense
internationally.
and it needs to be international. So it makes sense to go with one of the biggest players.
Right.
So what do you think?
Yeah, definitely valid points with the with having to have it be something big, because obviously YouTube is one of the biggest websites on the planet. It's funny, I think about it as this was an inevitable type of deal, you know what I mean? Because we've gone to VidCon 2 years in a row, which is basically kind of like the YouTube convention. Like all the big YouTubers go there, all of the kids go there to see their favorite YouTubers, and it's this whole thing. We've talked about it. And we stumbled onto, wow, there's this whole culture, or not culture, there's this whole ancillary business model that people have discovered where they can make merchandise for these YouTubers and make money,
Right.
And both of us were like, light bulb, we could
And
probably
District
do
Lines
this.
has been a major one.
Yeah, and we were both like, whoa, this is actually a really good business model, because these content creators, they're artists for the most part, and they don't really want to think about how to make, physical stuff out of their brand, right? They're not trying to think of how do I screen print shirts and stuff like that. So who spearheaded it was District Lines, and they kind of had the lock on it, and they still do. And then Spreadshirt came around too, and they're doing their stuff too. And it's just kind of fragmented, and now it's like, well, shoot, if you can just do it under YouTube's umbrella, and there's so many kids that would do that, and I would think arguably the bigger guys would probably do that too, depending on what the cut is. But think about it. What if they got a better cut and they have it integrated so they don't have to have hey, go to districtlines.com/ it's not promoting any other brand besides them. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it'll be Cafe Press branded, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You can just go under if you're promoting.
Well, that's the biggest part is the tab is right next to.
Yes.
It's they don't leave your.
That's
your
so
your
crazy.
Page. Yeah.
That's gonna just suck up the market unless you have some other unique thing that Cafe Press. I mean, I would say the big maybe possible white knight to this is there's other companies that are definitely gonna do much better quality stuff than Cafe Press.
Oh, no doubt.
And come along and maybe the YouTuber will actually care about that and say, hey, you can go to this website and this is who does my merchandise. not shitty Cafe Press, you know?
Yeah, it's just not going to be integrated. I think the bigger stars, the stars are able to really, or I should say, not stars, the YouTube celebrities. I hate calling them stars. I don't know if that's the right word for it. The YouTube celebrities who have their own audience and who are able to influence that audience to get them to go other places. I don't think they'll go with Cafe Press. Because Cafe Press, even Spreadshirt, they don't give you a very good deal. They're the ones making all the money.
Yeah.
You know, like, you get a few bucks, and if you do it yourself, you make way more money. And somebody like iJustine, who knows she's going to sell her shirts, you know, she doesn't need to worry about, you know, sticking with, you know, a place that can fulfill her orders on demand, because she knows she can sell 100 or 200 or 500 shirts. Cafe Press is really good for the celebrities who aren't sure they're going to be able to sell anything. So they don't want to order an inventory, right?
Yeah, because they don't have inventory.
Yeah, so it's like Cafe Press, once an order comes in, they make it, and they ship it.
They just have blanks. They just have blank shirts.
Yeah, which is why they're able to give you so much customization. So
right, that's why you can get your dog on your fucking shirt.
we're going to see so many crappy... All these people who turn on ads on their YouTube videos that get 200 views are now going to have their own shirt.
Oh my god!
And they're going to think they're so cool. They're going to be like, I have my own shirt, and it's awesome. You should buy it.
Spreadshirt could do that already too, though. I think.
What do you mean?
They already had that model too, where you could have your own shirt, but it just wasn't integrated into YouTube. Like, you could have your own like custom.
Your custom store.
Yeah, so you could be like, well, I want, you know, you could say I want this logo, but I also want it on a hoodie, and I want it on a underwear, and I want it on a V-neck.
I really want a Kasim G thong.
You know, like, I think a lot of people were already kind of doing that, but I don't know. It's sort of like, it's one of those things where I'm not a huge fan of the lock-in to any website, and I'm not a fan of the YouTube lock-in for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people, they feel like, you know, they got where they are because of YouTube, so they always need to be indebted to YouTube. And it's like, dude, at some point you got to realize you're a business person. You know what I mean? You got to make money. You can't just be like, well, YouTube brought me here, so I'm gonna always pimp YouTube. You know?
Right.
It's like, but the other part of it is if Cafe Press is fulfilling all of these orders and they don't have to deal with any of that stuff. That's a huge bonus for a lot of these content creators too. Because can you imagine iJustine with her jet setting, sitting there and like sealing envelopes with her shirts in them?
Yeah, she doesn't need to worry about that.
That's not going to happen, you know?
And she's always traveling, huh?
Yeah.
She's always going places. She's living the dream.
So I'm interested to see where this goes. It's interesting. I hope it doesn't end up being really janky. Because it looks like it's gonna be.
It's gonna be. I mean, go to Cafe Press. It's like you upload your logo and they'll put it on anything. A button, a mug, a thong.
It could be like a low resolution logo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you imagine all these like non-graphic designing kids are uploading like low DPI artwork? Just the worst artwork you've ever seen. It's gonna be hilarious. But anyway, I think it's both a good and a bad thing. I think it was interesting that guy who was pimping this on the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. He works for YouTube, I'm assuming.
He's a YouTube partner.
And he was talking about this new feature on the YouTube channel, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. It's on his own channel.
Oh, it's on his own channel.
Yeah,
and he was like, they should give you the option to do district lines. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, that might be true, but it doesn't make any sense for YouTube to do that because. In order for Cafe Press to be on board with this, if they were to come to me, if YouTube would come to me and say, we want you to do all this fulfillment for us, I'd be like, okay, I'll go out of my way and I'll sign on to do this, and then there's going to be a bunch of expense involved with this. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the one doing this. Like, you're not going to go to anybody else. Like, we're going to work together, and I'll be your fulfillment partner, and it's like, you don't get to do this with anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's what they did.
Yeah.
Like, District Lines is not going to get their foot in the door on this, I don't think, unless they pull some kind of magic. No, but I think it's really interesting that District Lines has been so locked into the YouTube community, and YouTube went outside of that community and was like, hey, you guys who we never worked with, you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it feels like that's another part of it. It's like, oh, YouTube's your buddy, but then look what happened. You know what I mean? Like, people need to stop thinking of YouTube just because you're famous on YouTube and you got where you are because you uploaded stuff and people liked it, doesn't mean that you have to be indebted to this website forever. I'm not indebted to Google because people found me on there. You know? Like,
I wouldn't even use another search engine. Google's my homeboys.
So, I know there's a lot of other pieces to that puzzle, but that's just a little part of the thing, I think. Anyway,
Cool.
Let's go to you.
Last story of the day. And I want to talk a little bit about backing up. Now, before you turn this video off... Oh, wait, no, don't! So, I recently decided that I was going to put all of my backups into the cloud, right? So, I back up everything locally in my house. But as some of you may know, I'm a photographer, and I have photos from years and years back just sitting on hard drives. And a lot of these people who I take photos of, you know, they can come to me 3 years later and say, oh, hey, do you still have X, Y, Z on that project? It's like, I can't erase it. It's like, once I take a photo, unless it's a bad photo, I have it forever. So I finally decided to back my stuff up into the cloud, because I was like, you know, what if I have a hard drive failure? What if my house burns down? What if somebody robs my house and steals all my hard drives? I was like, I need to be able to access this stuff. And the one thing that has always stopped me from backing up into the cloud is the fact that I have like a terabyte of data, and backing up takes forever, right? Forever. So I've used this service before. It's called CrashPlan, and they're not sponsoring me or anything. I'm actually paying for the service. I wish they were sponsoring us. Crap, if you're watching this, throw some money my way. I'd take a free account. That'd be good enough for me. And what they allow you to do, it's actually really cool. So their software works on PC. It also works on Mac. And it's free to use if you want to back up not to the cloud. And they allow you to do all these cool things. Like, you can install the software on your PC and on your Mac, and then you can back up your Mac to your PC. Oh. So it allows you to very easily back up to wherever you want. You could back up to a friend's computer, you could back up to an external hard drive, you could back up to another PC. That's all really cool, and was one of the reasons I signed up with them. But they also let you back up into the cloud, obviously. And then if you want them to keep that data safe, it's for one computer. If you pay monthly, they have like you pay upfront costs and then monthly costs. I decided to pay monthly, so it's just $5 a month, and you get unlimited storage and unlimited bandwidth. So you can upload as much as you want, which is another one of the reasons I chose them. But I have been backing up now for 2.5 weeks.
Jeez, how far are you now?
I'm almost done. I probably will be done by tomorrow morning.
Damn.
And then by that point, it only runs incremental backups. Whenever something new is added or something has changed, then it will back it up.
Is it going right now?
No, I turned it off.
Why?
Because it actually makes my computer run hot.
Oh.
Because what it does is, for data that it can compress, it will compress those files before it uploads. Which is how it's able to upload. It will show you upload speeds, and you'll be like, whoa, how's my upload speed so fast? And the reason it's able to do that is because it shows you your calculated upload speed, like your uncompressed upload speed, but that's not actually how fast you're uploading. So it will take a picture and it will compress it and then upload it, which makes it go faster.
Right.
But it uses your processor to do that, so it makes your computer run really hot. But I really like it so far. You know, if you're not backing up, I mean, if you don't have anything important, you're wrong. Like, eventually one of your hard drives will crash, and you're going to start thinking about all the things that you needed that are on that hard drive, and doing data recovery is prohibitively expensive. I mean, like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 expensive sometimes. So it's smarter just to do it now. But now I feel really good, because I'm like, I got it done. It sucked. It really sucked, to be honest with you. And I have a good connection speed. Yeah. Like, I have 20 megabits down and 4 up, which is a lot faster than most people I know, especially the people that don't live in Seattle. But it's done. And now, actually, the cool thing is like, I had redundant backup drives. So I would back up to a hard drive behind me, a hard drive in front of me, right? Just in case one of the hard drives failed, because I wanted to make sure I have these things in another location. So now I don't need to do that. Like, I have a local backup drive for things that I'm still kind of working on, but I need to have in the house. And then for everything else I know I'm not going to touch, I just back it up to the cloud, and then I can delete it from my local backups, which frees up a ton of hard drive space. Right, yeah. Because I'm using a new camera, and every image it pops out is 30 megabytes. Jesus. So it's like I do one photo shoot, and that's 20 gigs.
So how do you back up your external, like you get a Western Digital drive? How are you backing that up to the cloud?
It's really easy. So you point the software at it, and you're like, I want to back up this drive, and then
plug it into your computer.
And then you plug it into the computer, and every time it's plugged in, the software recognizes that it's plugged in and just starts backing it up.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That was always my worry. I was like, because a lot of these other ones that I've heard of only want you to be able to back up your main boot drive.
Yep.
And that's like $5 a month. It's like Carbonite and all these other ones, you know?
Right.
And yeah, and that was always my big issue. I'm like, well, shoot, like I definitely already have backups, and I don't want to. I want to back those up, you know, like.
Right. Yeah, and
So.
you want to back up your backups. Yeah, I mean, CrashPlan is. I mean, they really give you a lot. I mean, the fact that they never delete any of your data, all your data is super encrypted, and they make it really easy. I mean, like with I think it's not CrashPlan, but Carbonite. I think it's Carbonite. If you back up an external drive. If you unplug that drive for 30 days, they delete that backup because they think you don't want it anymore.
What?
With CrashPlan, they never delete anything as long as you pay them
That's
every
dumb,
month.
especially since you're paying them for it, right?
Yeah. So and and if you unplug your hard drive, it just stops and it waits for you to plug it back in, and then just boom, starts right back up again.
I like that. I think I'm gonna have to do that. That's one of those dumb things that you just don't get on for a long time. And then once you actually do, you're like, oh, you know, you just feel so much better. Because I create lots of content too. There's stuff like what if I lost all the assets to my website, you know?
Dude, yeah. I mean, you just don't think, especially if you have a business, how much important stuff on there,
All
know,
the
that you
old
have.
Invoices that I have and all this other
Yeah,
stuff,
all the
you know?
emails that you had, if you're not using like an IMAP account in Gmail. I use Pop, so like once my emails are downloaded, they're gone from the server.
Why do you do that?
It's just management stuff. I just don't want to have. I don't want to have my phone and my computer synced for the email synced. But that's another topic altogether. So just check it out. If you haven't been backing up, I highly recommend that you do it because it's only a matter of time before something happens. I guarantee you, a hard drive's gonna die. Something's gonna happen, and you're gonna lose something. You may accidentally delete a file.
That's what happened to me. That's the closest I ever got to being like screwed, and I was just like devastated, you know, like because I was just getting in the habit of hitting delete, hitting empty trash all the time, you know,
Right.
And then I just fudged myself.
Well, see, CrashPlan, you can set it to back up every 15 minutes, every hour. You can have it create versions of your files. I mean,
That's really cool.
it's really powerful. So yeah, you should definitely be backing up.
Yeah, I'm actually just now freed up one of my other hard drives because I had like a previous computer on one of them and all this other junk. So finally I cleared up one and I started doing Time Machine yesterday. And it finished last night because it was pretty big. But what was really cool is last week we talked about my data doubler, my 2 hard drives and my 1 computer. What I thought was going to happen when I plugged in my my other hard drive for Time Machine, I thought it was just going to back up my boot drive, but it actually backed up all the gigabytes associated with the computer. So it backed up my other drive, my spinning hard disk, and my SSD disk.
That's great.
So so that's another like little tidbit if you ever do what I did, which is put 2 hard drives in your MacBook Pro.
The one thing I will say, just to kind of close up on this, is the UI is kind of crappy. It's not the best UI I've seen for the Mac, but hey, you know, they're a data company. What do you expect?
I'm gonna download the free trial.
Download the free trial, would you?
I will.
Anyway, hey, that's it. That's it for this week.
Episode 18.
Episode 18. Hard to believe. Hey, I bet you know what I'm going to ask you. I'm really interested in the things that you have to say when you're not on the show.
Yeah.
How do I hear more of those things?
You know what? I'm gonna give you a different link.
Oh. Okay.
Go to about.me/Roberto Hoyos, and you'll find all my shiz there.
Okay.
That's how
Hey,
that's how we're gonna do it today.
Yeah, you could do about.me/airfawn and find all my shiz there.
All right.
And a big picture of my big beautiful face.
Me too.
Really?
I just found one that was big enough, so.
You found one of my face?
No,
That'd be a little
mine.
weird. Anyway, this has been user friendly.
Thank you for
Episode
watching.
18, yeah.
Go subscribe to us in the iTunes podcast section. Leave a comment. We don't know if you guys like us, if you guys don't like
Maybe
us.
some suggestions.
So maybe type something like "You guys rock." I know you're
that
watching,
would make
John. Leave us a comment, John.
You tallywhacker.
And
And then our YouTube channel.
is youtube.com/userfriendly
show, right? And feel free to subscribe and leave comments there.
Userfriendlyshow.com. All right. See you guys next week. Peace out.